My best friend asked me to be her maid of honor. I said yes, even though I had just found out she was sleeping with my fiancé. I smiled through the planning, the dress fittings, the rehearsals. But when it was my turn to give a speech, I took the mic and said, "There's nothing I love more than loyalty." Unfortunately, neither the bride nor my ex know anything about that. Then I held up a flash drive. The DJ plugged it in. Their hotel footage played on the projector. I walked off stage as her father shouted, "Turn it off." I met Rachel in 8th grade. We were both new to the school, me from Illinois, her from Oregon, and we clicked fast. By the time we hit high school, we were like sisters. We did everything together. Sleepovers, parties, road trips. We even got matching tattoos the day we turned 18. I met Jesse when I was 26. He was sweet, thoughtful, and the first guy I could actually picture building a life with. He wasn't flashy, but he made me feel safe. After 2 years of dating, he proposed on a weekend trip to Asheville. I said yes without hesitation. We were supposed to get married that fall. Rachel was the first person I called. She screamed so loud, I had to hold the phone away from my ear. She offered to help plan the whole thing, said she couldn't wait to be my maid of honor. That's how I thought it would go. Turns out, she had other plans. About 4 months before our wedding, Jesse started acting off. Nothing huge, just weird little things. He kept changing his passcode. Got jumpy when I touched his phone. Started working late a lot, even on weekends. I asked him once if something was going on and he brushed it off, said I was being paranoid. I wish I'd listened to my gut sooner. One night, he was asleep on the couch, snoring with his phone halfway under a throw pillow. I grabbed it to charge it. And the screen lit up with a message preview from someone saved as R. It said, "Same room as last time?" My stomach dropped. I clicked it open. The chat history didn't leave much to the imagination. It was Rachel, my best friend, my maid of honor, the person I'd trusted with everything. They'd been sneaking around for months. Hotel meetups, sexting, even talking about how they couldn't wait until I was out of the picture. I couldn't breathe. I just sat there for hours, staring at the messages, the photos. My hands were shaking. I don't remember crying. I felt blank. Like my brain had shut off just to keep me from falling apart. I didn't confront either of them that night, or the next day, or the next week, because something inside me snapped. And I decided that if they were going to lie to my face and play happy friends, I could do the same. Just long enough to make sure they both got what they deserved. Rachel called me a few days later and asked if I'd help her pick a wedding dress. I forced a smile over the phone and said of course. She wasn't getting married yet, she'd just gotten engaged to a guy named Travis, who I'd never really liked. He was a bit of a pushover, honestly. The kind of guy who thought Rachel walked on water. I went with her to David's bridal. I zipped her into dress after dress, complimented her choices, held her hand while she cried happy tears. I wanted to vomit. But I kept my face straight. I told her she looked beautiful. I let her have that moment. And I kept every single receipt. For the next few months, I played my role. Maid of honor. Supportive best friend. Loyal ex-fiancé who just needed space. Jesse didn't know I'd seen the messages. Neither did Rachel. They thought they'd gotten away with it. I smiled at them both. I toasted champagne at the bridal shower. I even threw her a bachelorette party. All the while, I was planning my revenge. First, I hired a PI. It wasn't cheap, but it was worth every penny. He got me photos, video, and time-stamped proof. I made sure it was all legit. The final blow came when he sent me a USB stick with security footage from a hotel in Raleigh, clear as day. There they were, checking into a suite, kissing in the elevator. That footage was my insurance. Finally, the big day came. I helped her into her dress, did her makeup, told her she looked stunning. She squeezed my hand and said, "I don't know what I'd do without you." I smiled and said, "You'll never have to find out." The ceremony went off without a hitch. They exchanged vows. Everyone clapped. Her dad cried. Jessie sat in the third row, looking bored. And then it was time for the speeches. I walked up to the mic, heart pounding but face calm. I scanned the room. So many people. Her parents. Her new husband. My ex. Our friends. All of them smiling. I took a breath. "There's nothing I love more than loyalty," I said. Unfortunately, neither the bride nor my ex know anything about that. A beat of silence. Then I pulled the flash drive from my clutch and held it up. The DJ had been told in advance to plug it in when I gave the signal. I nodded once. He inserted it. The screen behind the head table flickered to life. And there they were, Rachel and Jessie, in a hotel hallway, laughing, kissing, walking into a suite together. The room went dead silent. Then came the gasps, the whispers, the shouts. Rachel stood up and screamed, "Turn it off." Her dad stood and yelled, "What the hell is this?" Travis just stared at the screen, frozen. Then he turned to Rachel and said, quietly, "You lied to me." She tried to explain. She begged. She cried. But no one was listening. I walked off the stage without another word. I didn't stay at the reception. As soon as I stepped off the stage, I walked straight out of the venue. I heard yelling behind me. Chairs scraping, glass breaking. I didn't look back. I didn't need to. The damage was done. I sat in my car for a minute with my hands on the wheel, staring straight ahead. My heart was pounding, but I felt calm. Calm in a way I hadn't felt in months. It was like all that weight I'd been carrying just slid off my shoulders. Then my phone started blowing up. Texts. Missed calls. Voicemails. First from Rachel. "What the hell did you do? You ruined my wedding, you psycho. We need to talk. Please. Don't do this." Then Jessie. "I can explain. This was a mistake. Please call me. You didn't have to do this." Then friends. Some were shocked. Some were furious. A few just sent, "Holy sh**T." I turned my phone off. The next few days were chaos. Rachel's wedding fell apart before the cake was even cut. Travis left. Her parents were humiliated. Most of the guests left early. People who'd flown in from out of state were furious. Rachel went into full-blown damage control. She posted this long message on Facebook about how someone she loved deeply betrayed her trust, and how mistakes were made, but nothing excuses that kind of cruelty. She didn't name me, but she didn't have to. Everyone knew. I didn't post anything. I didn't have to. People started messaging me anyway. Some apologized for doubting me. Some admitted they always thought something was off with Jessie and Rachel. A few people told me I was savage or cold, but they didn't know what I went through. Then Rachel showed up at my apartment. It was a Thursday night. I'd just gotten home from work and was heating up leftovers when someone banged on the door. I looked through the peephole. It was her. I hesitated for a second, then opened it. She looked like a wreck, no makeup, messy bun, hoodie, red eyes. "I just want to talk," she said. I didn't say anything, just stepped aside and let her in. She walked in slow, sat on the edge of my couch like she didn't know what to do with her hands. Then she said, "Why?" I raised an eyebrow. "Why what? Why would you humiliate me like that? At my own wedding?" I laughed, but it wasn't a happy laugh. "You're seriously asking me that?" She looked up, her face hard. "It was a mistake. It didn't mean anything. You were **king my fiancé, Rachel." Her jaw clenched. "I didn't plan it. It just happened." I shook my head. "That's supposed to make it better?" Silence. Then she stood up, hands shaking. "You ruined my life." I looked her dead in the eyes. "No, Rachel. You did that all by yourself. I just made sure everyone saw it." She left without another word. After that, we didn't speak again for a while. But the story didn't end there. Not even close. Because Rachel wasn't done. And Jesse? He had his own revenge to plan. I thought exposing the truth would be the end of it. I thought once people saw who Rachel and Jesse really were, they'd just disappear from my life. But that's not what happened. A week after the wedding, I got served. Rachel was suing me. She claimed I'd violated her right to privacy, caused her emotional distress, and intentionally sabotaged her wedding, which led to irreparable personal and financial damages. The lawsuit was real. I held the papers in my hand, stunned, as the process server walked off my porch like it was just another Tuesday. I didn't cry. I didn't panic. But I felt sick. She wasn't just mad. She was trying to destroy me. I hired a lawyer. A friend of mine, Rachel's ex-roommate from college, recommended a woman named Lori from Greensboro. She was tough. Blunt. Didn't sugarcoat things. Can she win? I asked. Lori leaned back in her chair. Honestly, it's messy. Public embarrassment, video without consent, potential defamation. But we've got angles. Especially if we can prove you had cause. What do you mean? I mean if you can prove Rachel lied, manipulated you, caused you harm first. Juries care about that. Especially if we spin it right. So I handed her everything. The texts. The photos. The hotel footage. Even messages from mutual friends saying Rachel had bragged about getting with Jesse while I was still engaged. Lori built the case. And while we waited for court dates, the drama kept coming. Jesse posted a long rant on Instagram. He didn't mention me by name, but he called me a bitter woman with too much time and not enough therapy, and said I was trying to destroy two people just because I couldn't handle being dumped. It had almost 400 comments. I stayed quiet. But other people didn't. One of Rachel's own bridesmaids commented, "You dumped her? Pretty sure you were screwing her best friend behind her back for months." Sit down. Another wrote, "This is what happens when you cheat and lie. Don't play victim now." His post got taken down 2 days later. Then Rachel started calling people. She tried turning friends against me. Claimed I'd been unstable for years, that I always had a thing for drama. Said I faked the whole thing to get attention. But not everyone bought it. Because Rachel made a mistake. She went after Travis. A mutual friend told me Rachel had been messaging Travis, trying to get him back. She told him I twisted the truth, that she and Jesse only hooked up once, and that I manipulated the timeline to make it look worse. What she didn't know was that Travis had saved every message she sent during their engagement, including some where she flat out admitted to cheating and laughed about getting away with it. He sent those to me. Then he offered to testify on my behalf. I thought things couldn't go any lower. But then I got a phone call from my mom. "I just got a weird message," she said. Turns out, someone had been calling family members, my mom, my sister, even my aunt, saying I was mentally unwell and not safe to be around. They didn't say who they were, but it wasn't hard to guess. Rachel was trying to make me look unstable. I reported it. Nothing came of it. But it was a warning. This wasn't just about a broken friendship anymore. This was war. About 3 months after the wedding disaster, just when things seemed to be settling down, I got called into HR at work. At first, I thought it had to be a mistake. But then they showed me an email, sent from an anonymous address, to my boss, to the company board, and even to our legal team. It was a fake whistleblower report. It accused me of everything from harassment to theft to emotional instability in the workplace. The email even attached edited screenshots of text messages. Totally fake, and what looked like a fake letter from a coworker complaining about me. The sender had tried to cover their tracks. But they weren't smart enough. Our company's IT department traced the IP. And guess what? It came from a library computer. 2 blocks from Rachel's apartment. That was the last straw. My lawyer filed a countersuit. Defamation. Harassment. Intentional infliction of emotional distress. The court date got pushed out, but now Rachel was officially in deep. She had tried to burn down my life, and it was starting to catch up with her. But here's where things got even darker. I hadn't heard much from Jesse since his little Instagram meltdown, but one night I ran into him. It was completely random. I was at this quiet bar with my friend Chelsea when he walked in. He saw me, hesitated, then walked right over like nothing had happened. "You look good," he said. I didn't say anything. He sat down, even though I didn't ask him to, and started rambling. How miserable he was, how Rachel was crazier than ever, how he never meant to hurt me. Then he said, "I was thinking maybe we could get coffee sometime." I looked at him for a long second. And then I said, "You really think I'd sit across from the man who wrecked my life and smile like it never happened?" He shrugged. "I figured we both lost something. Maybe we could talk." I laughed. Loudly. "Jesse," I said, "the only thing I lost was you. And that? That was the best thing that ever happened to me." He left. Embarrassed. Angry. And the next day, he texted me, "You think this is over? You're not done paying for what you did." I saved that message. It came in handy later. Because 6 weeks before the court date, Jesse got arrested. Not for me. Not for Rachel. For stealing from his company. Apparently, he'd been using a corporate card for personal expenses, hotels, dinners, even plane tickets. A quiet little fraud scheme, finally caught after someone noticed the budget didn't add up. It hit the local news. His mugshot went viral. And right next to it? A familiar name in the comments. Rachel. She'd been helping him book the trips. Her name was on one of the hotel receipts. Suddenly, she had a lot more to worry about than my lawsuit. And I finally had peace. Or so I thought. But the courtroom wasn't going to be the end of it either. Rachel had one more move left. Court day finally came. I walked into that courthouse with my head high. Lori was beside me, calm and sharp as ever. She carried a folder full of evidence. Every message, every receipt, every dirty trick Rachel and Jesse tried to pull. Rachel was there too. She looked pale, thinner than I remembered, with her hair tied back tight like she was trying to hold herself together. Jesse wasn't with her. He was still dealing with his own mess. His court date for fraud had been pushed back after his lawyer quit. I guess there are limits to how much garbage even a lawyer will deal with. Rachel sat on the other side of the courtroom and didn't look at me once. The judge came in. We stood. Then it began. Her lawyer tried hard. They painted me as vindictive, unstable, even manipulative. They said I invaded Rachel's privacy by showing the hotel footage. They said I had a long history of obsessive behavior. Lori calmly tore it all down. She showed the messages, the proof of the affair, the witness statements from friends, the fake whistleblower email, and the IP address traced to Rachel. The recordings and texts where Rachel and Jesse laughed about lying to me. The harassment. The smear campaign. Then, finally, she showed the footage. Not in front of a wedding crowd this time. Just the judge, but it hit just as hard. Rachel tried to object. Her lawyer stood and shouted that it wasn't relevant. The judge waved them off. When it was over, the courtroom was dead silent. The judge ruled in my favor. Rachel's lawsuit? Dismissed with prejudice. My countersuit? Approved. She was ordered to pay damages for harassment, defamation, and emotional distress. Not just legal fees, but enough money to hurt. A lot. Her face when the judge read the ruling was something I'll never forget. Like her whole world was tilting sideways and she couldn't stop it. Outside the courthouse, she tried to talk to me. I kept walking. A week later, I got a call from Travis. He'd been following the case and wanted to thank me. Seeing her for what she really is, "You did more for me than you'll ever know," he said. He also told me something I didn't know. Rachel had tried to meet up with him again after the trial. He said no. She doesn't change. People like that don't, he told me. I believed him. As for Jesse? He was found guilty of multiple counts of fraud and embezzlement. He took a plea deal to avoid more jail time, but he still got sentenced to 14 months. I didn't show up to his hearing. I didn't send a letter. I didn't need to. He's gone now. Not my problem. And me? I moved. Not far. Just enough to get away from the noise. I started therapy again. I cut ties with toxic people. I took some of the settlement money and started my own small business, nothing flashy, just something that was mine. It wasn't about revenge anymore. It was about getting my life back. Do I regret what I did at the wedding? Not for a second. Would I do it differently? Maybe. Maybe I wouldn't have waited so long to walk away. Maybe I wouldn't have let my anger take over my life for as long as it did. Because the truth is, holding on to pain doesn't make it heal faster. It just makes it heavier. But they betrayed me, lied to me, used me. So no, I didn't burn their lives down. I handed them the matches, and they did the rest themselves.